And I'm your host, Dana Migliore. How are you today? I hope you are well and your energy is serving you. Let's take a quick moment to center ourselves. Relax your body, release any tension in your shoulders and in your jaw. Take a deep breath in and a slow exhale out. Thank you. So, this is exciting because this is going to be a part of a 4-part series, talking about all the pillars of the Ascension method, what's changed my entire life and healed my mind, body, and soul. So I really want to get into part 1, which is about soul connection and what your soul connection has to do with creating reality and manifesting your daily experience, whether it is conscious or unconscious, because we are always creating reality, right? And until I made connection with my inner essence, the soul part of me, I talk about this a lot if you listen regularly, that non-physical part of you. Okay, this is something that existed before you were in this body and will continue to exist even after your body passes. This is a connection you want to make regardless. This relationship with you and you, that non-physical part of you, sets the tone for every other relationship in your life. So if there are some relationships you are looking to improve or create or have, you got to begin creating that relationship with yourself first. Because that, again, will put into alignment all your other relationships. Like, my life was a hot mess no more than about 10 years ago. And I was in the midst of it. And every relationship, it seemed, that I had, even the ones closest to me, were really having a negative impact on my self-esteem, or having a negative impact on my mindset, which was having a negative impact on how I was creating reality. Even though I did not believe that at that time, I felt I was victimized. I've heard of the law of attraction. I did like The Secret. But when I was in the midst of going through the dark night of the soul, I didn't feel like I created that at that time. I felt like it was just happening to me. And I was so disconnected from the inner soul part of me. And so everything was a complete hot mess in my life. And though I am thankful for all of that, and I see why I created that at that time to be where I am today, and it makes a lot of sense now, back then I had no clue. It's crazy, what life can mean. And when you're in the midst of it, you don't really see its purpose or its meaning. And when you reach that other side and it all clicks in like that last piece to your puzzle and everything makes sense, it's such a gratifying moment. So if you're in the midst of your chaos right now, I'm telling you, there is a reason for you being where you are right now. There's realizations you are coming to. There is clarity you are gaining. You are collecting data for creating a greater and better experience in your future reality. And in order to bring that into alignment, you have to get into alignment. And what's the easiest way to get into alignment is connecting with that non-physical part of you. And we can do this through multiple ways. Those things that naturally light up your vibration, your energy, whether it's looking out at the sky, having a nice warm cup of tea or coffee, or it's singing, dancing, whatever that activity is, sports, going for a walk, especially in nature, whatever that is, the reason why it feels so good is because you are actually connecting with the inner soul part of you. And you are tending to that relationship. If there was anything I could give advice on if I was to not exist tomorrow, I would say the number one thing you could do for your health, for your creation of your reality around you, and for the relationships that you interact with is to connect with the inner part of you and build and nurture that relationship. That investment that you take the time and energy to do that will come back to you tenfold. I owe everything to this connection. So place your hand on your heart right now. Take a deep breath and either out loud or in your own mind say, hey there, I know we haven't talked in a while. I know I may have not have acknowledged your presence, but thank you for supporting me. Thank you for being the light I need in darkness. And I'm so excited to get to know you better and grow this relationship. We are in this together, and we are going to come out with all of our desires and live in complete abundance. Doesn't that feel good? You know, it felt good to me. And so what I really would like you to do is, when your mind is too busy with daily activity, daily life, you have this mental chatter going on that's on a program, that's on a pattern, that's on a repeat. And a lot of the times this pattern is breaking your connection because your non-physical part is always with you. So it's not like they're ever absent from you, but you're not tuned in, you're not plugged into that connection. And that mental chatter is a huge distraction for you. That busy mind is a huge distraction for you. That stress and anxiety of need to do tasks or worried about outcomes of your life and people in your life is a huge distraction to that connection. If only you knew the power of taking your focus off of those things that has your mind on this program, this pattern that is one of angst, is one of not that natural flow, your existence, that energy. We're not really going with our flow, right? And we're going against the flow. So even if we get 10, 12, 15 hours of sleep, you are still exhausted because your energetic connection is not in alignment, it's not in its proper flow. So if you have not yet grabbed my Ascension Workbook, do so now. It's absolutely free. There is a meditation in there that teaches you and trains you on how to calm that mental chatter, that busy mind, that program that's on repeat right now for you, that is keeping you distracted from your soul connection. Okay, this is something that you need to practice if you're not already. If you are already, what's up? How you doing? And if you're not, it's okay. But I just want you to see the benefit of connecting with your soul. And if your mind's too busy and the mental chatter's too loud, you're not going to really be able to resonate and hear that call from within. Do you know what I'm talking about? The call from within. Haven't you ever felt it, heard it, got an instinct, a gut instinct? That has a lot to do with your inner soul connection and your intuition and your third eye. These are all things that are connected because we have our personal chakras, the chakras that reside on placements within our body, but we also have extended chakras, and this is more of the 13 chakra system. It's called a 12-fold chakra system, with the 0 being actually underneath you, okay? And then you have chakras that range above you, okay? And then it creates this auric field around you. So your energy goes so far out from your body. And a lot of the times our aura and our energy gets weakened because of this mental program, because of our stressors, because of what we are on autopilot with in life. So that's why meditation is so powerful, because it unplugs you from that. I mean, you need to reset your phone, you need to reset your laptop, but how much time are you taking to reset yourself? You are the most powerful software, program, hardware. Are you taking care of it? There's so many different ways, and you don't have to do everything, but pick and choose what aligns with you and works for you and allows you to tune to your natural flow of energy. You know that resonance you feel when you're listening to music, or you have a download. If you're like me, I'm very clairsentient, clairvoyant, and clairaudient. So I get a lot of downloads, and they come as pictures, they come as sounds, they come as feelings. And ever since I've nurtured my connection, it's so much more powerful in the downloads and the messages I receive, where before it was like it was trying to come through, but the chatter of my mind, my program started to override it, so I only got like bits and pieces of it. It's like watching on television a channel that is only coming through, remember antenna TV, the fuzzy TV, and you had to like move the satellite dish. But talk back in the day here. So when you're watching that TV, it's not all the way clear. So connecting with that inner soul part of you, move that satellite dish to that sweet spot, and I got everything clear as can be coming through. And it's so powerful. You are your own creation of God's source energies within you. And this relationship that you tend to nurtures your life and amplifies abundance for you, which is always available to you. And if you are not living in certain areas of abundance in your life, it is because you've created a limitation through past experience. You've created a limitation from a preconceived notion. You've created it from somebody else's perceptions and beliefs that is limiting you to accessing this abundance. So it's something that I feel I need you to be aware of, that it's all around you. Everything you want, when you get a desire and you think about it, that's your inner soul part of you guiding you to that, because it vibrationally already exists. You created it from experiencing a situation you didn't want, or just from knowing how much you really wanted it. It was vibrationally created because you got the desire for it. You felt it in your body. You've seen it in your mind. You feel so called towards it. That was something I was so interested on learning more about. I'm like, what is that? I need to know that feeling. That feeling's an amazing feeling, especially when you see it pay off. Maybe you got a hunch on something, you took action, and then you realize, wow, if I didn't do that when I felt that, then I would have been stuck there, or this would have happened. So it's really amazing, that you have this natural savior within you, this natural guidance within you, and this protection. It is time to use that. Where the world is going in our timeline, it is very important that you structure your protection, your energy, and you get empowered by it and you learn to work with it. This is why I love teaching the Spirit Ascension Method, because it's going to help you master your mind, body, and spirit, your mind, body, and soul. You're going to be able to work with your energy. You're going to make that nurturing connection with your soul. And you're going to understand what limitations you've created. And then enhance and unlock your intuition. See how everything aligns, everything builds upon each other to make you a master of your experience, because you already are a master of your experience. But if you're not if you're not enjoying what you are creating, then it's time to be more conscious about it. Some people do this naturally and things just happen magically for them. They do put in the work, okay? But it comes with that effortlessness type of work and going with inspired action rather than efforting, which I feel like I've efforted for most of my life. I was really in tune with this when I was younger, especially when school started, and I realized I didn't really understand then what was going on with the thoughts I was hearing from other people and the feelings I was feeling from other people. It wasn't until like my late 20s that I figured out that was actually a gift. an ability. And I believe we all have this. It's just some of us are more tuned to it naturally, and some of us are really closed off. We've got some bolts and extra chains and locks on these doors, where our mind was just kind of maybe closed or peeked open at one point in my life, and then boom, just wide open, right? Especially after I had my Kundalini awakening and I escaped the dark night of the soul and I emerged this new identity. And being on that other side, being there, was like so liberating. It was the best feeling in my entire life to know that I was in one place and thought nothing was possible. And I made it on the other side and realized that I've created all of it. And I wasn't even mad, and I wasn't sad, and I wasn't anything negative. I was super appreciative, and I was really eager and happy to not have made any rash decisions and actions that would have led me to no longer being here. And I want to spread that message, and I want to give you hope that you can escape whatever is, weighing on you and bringing you down, even if it's something temporarily that happened or something that you've been stuck in for a while, or maybe some issue that you recently just bumped into. This can change. It doesn't have to consume you. It doesn't have to be the way that it is if you've been there for a long time. I mean, obviously we want to tend to our emotions. There's nothing wrong with negative emotion. It is a beautiful indication of how you're flowing your energy, and your inner guidance is alerting you with that negative emotion. It is important to understand why it's happening. It's just when we stay there for extended periods of time, it's wreaking havoc on our aura, on our mind, on our body, on our soul. Then physical, side effects start happening. And, deterioration can happen a lot quicker. And we deal with things that we normally wouldn't have to if we stayed in that alignment and stayed in our natural flow of energy. And that's why I made a post the other day on Instagram. It was like, people think, they say going with the flow just means to like be easy and like not make a fuss and just go along with whatever's happening. But the true essence of going with the flow is going with the flow of the magnificent, energetic being that you are. It's when we go against that flow that things start to disrupt, and we are in an area of our life and we're looking through a perceptual lens that feels really bad. It doesn't feel good. And get out as soon as you can. Acknowledge it. Understand why it's happening. I'm never saying ignore your negative emotion. Never ignore it. It is an indication. Do you ignore your gaslight when it comes on? I hope not, because then you're going to be stranded and it's going to be uncomfortable for you unless you have super supported, loving people in your life that can come to your rescue and help you out. Not everybody has that on the drop of a dime. So let's take consideration when we feel emotions, because emotions are an indication. The other day, I was going over, my manifestation workshop, and I love the fact that I bring the attention of like a lot of you guys, you look at your now reality for proof of your manifestation. And when you look at your now reality for proof of your manifestation and it's not there yet, you emphasize the energy of lack. And now lack is your point of attraction. And now you have this push-pull of energy going in the direction of what you want, but realizing it's not there, and you're not really making much movement and momentum. So if you feel like you've been after manifesting something for a really long time, that's why that's happening 99.9% of the time. There's other different attributes that can happen. If you want a personalized description of this, book your free call with me. There's a link below. It's a spiritual manifestation call. If you're open to sharing this, being open with me, and you want additional guidance, book that. Okay? So from now until next week, practice nurturing the relationship with the inner soul part of you. And if you're not sure where to start, then grab the Ascension Workbook and look through that first pillar, that first phase of soul connection, and start practicing some of the practices and methods there for you. Is very powerful and is life-changing. And again, this is a 4-part series, so stay tuned for the next 3 episodes. Next week, we'll be getting into perceptions of reality, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. Again, I can't thank you enough for joining me and sharing your time and energy with me. I would really appreciate you commenting on anything that resonated with you. Make sure to give this video a like if you learned something or felt something within you today when listening to this episode. And remember, if you want to dive straight into mastering your manifestations, make sure to check out my manifestation workshop through the links below. And I can't wait to see you guys next week. Bye for now.
Did you like this episode? If so, make sure to subscribe to the podcast. Are you an expert at creating your own reality? Do you have a story to tell that drastically changed your life? If so, message me at Dream Creation Podcast on Instagram, and don't forget to leave a review.